Hello Evertonians, and welcome to the All Together Now podcast, live here at the Bramley Moore Pub on the banks of the Royal Blue Mersey. Lovely summer's night here it is on the dock. I'm Tony Scott, Greg O'Keefe to my right, David Hughes to my left, and lots to discuss. It's the Everton versus Sheffield United preview. Also, lots to discuss with Marco Silva. Should Everton change their formation? We've got the Facebook and Twitter questions and the Everton versus Sheffield United preview. But before we go any further, David, got a little message out, haven't you?
Cheers to Paul for the pints, mate.
Nice one, Paul.
First ever round we've had, but nice one.
Lovely stuff.
Not my joking, by the way, he does get his hand in his pocket. He wants to make
pretty much like his other mate here to our left. Gents, first up, a lot of discussion amongst Marco Silva last weekend in regard to his body language, especially when the third goal went in. Does it really matter what his body language is on the line?
I was having this conversation with my dad during the week. Funny enough, we were watching.
Do you argue with your dad as well?
Maybe not as passionately and regularly as you with yours. It's more of a We were watching Liverpool, to be honest with you. Hands up here, we were watching the Champions League game, and things are going against Liverpool, and they're going a goal down, and Klopp's giving it, being Klopp up and down the touchline, going nuts. You know what I mean? Gesticulating, urging his team on. Living every kick, every spit, winning every header. And it's a style, isn't it? And it's obviously very effective for Liverpool. We're not talking about Liverpool. I suppose the reason I reference him is because Silva's pretty much the opposite, isn't he? Now, don't get me wrong, he now and again he gets animated, and he will react to some decisions, and his technical staff will be up and in the area. But generally speaking, when we go a goal down, sometimes he, in a way, as a fan, it leaves a bit to be required. You're thinking like, where's the reaction from the dugout? But what I'd always say is, and it's kind of not really answering your question, it's just recognising the validity of what you've asked. I'm not sure how much it matters. I'm not sure how much, as professional footballers, you need a Klopp, all singing, all dancing, acting the whatever in the technical area to spare you on. Or you know your job, and he does his thing behind closed doors at half time and before the game, and in the days before the game, in the video analysis, in the one-on-one coaching, in the moving the players around the pitch, literally in a hands-on manner, as we've heard he does. I don't know, I'm not very far from a professional footballer, but you do wonder if the little infinitesimal, if it's easy enough for me to say, bits in football, a little 0.5%, whether having someone who's that animated does make a bit of a difference psychologically. We've seen Fabian Delph being a bit of a cheerleader on the pitch, and it went quite a long way with us, didn't it?
It did, but does it make any difference?
Did it make well, exactly. It goes back to your question. Look, I could have answered this in a very short way and said, I just don't know. I don't know. But it clearly angers some Blues. But does it anger them when we win? If he's not particularly expressive or dancing around? I think sometimes it's easy to look for things when you're getting beaten, and we'll talk about the game in a minute. What's wrong? Is it him? He's too quiet, he's too reserved. I don't know.
Does it really matter, David? His body language, he's sitting there slumped in, and that was just a single moment that the camera just captured him in the dugout. Everton are 3-1 down with 10 minutes to go. Name me a manager that isn't sulking if they're 3-1 down.
Yeah, I would be. I'd be sulking because the game's finished.
Yeah,
it's been a disappointing defeat. You know you're not going to bounce back. It doesn't matter in the slightest for me, to be honest. Yeah, like using Greg's example, Klopp's part of this, like this aura that they've created at Anfield, where you know they buy into all that and they all feed off each other.
Yeah,
that would be so false if Silva started trying to.
It's not him, is it?
Yeah, that's not him. It doesn't matter for me. I don't agree with those comments of people who've been saying that it does. I think you want a manager who's tactically astute and can manage the team. I think all that is neither here nor there, in my opinion.
Is it just an excuse to get at him, do you think?
I think so, yeah, I do. You know, as you said, if they won, would anyone be talking about that? And by the way, I've seen plenty of times of him being animated on the side. Yeah. The cameras might just not pick it up. You know, when a goal goes in, how many times is your first thought, what's the manager doing?
Well, exactly.
You know, you don't need to do that.
It's theatre, isn't it? It's nonsense.
So the only reliance on seeing that when you see a camera pan to it, And how many times has the camera maybe picked up on it and not bothered to show it because it's a non-entity, it's not interesting.
I had some quote, sorry Greg, I had some quote saying like, oh, if I was a player looking toward the touchline, if we're 3-1 down and my manager's slumped there, saying nothing, it'd affect me. No, it wouldn't. You're a professional footballer.
That's
it's absolutely nonsense. If you're 3-1 down and you're looking to your touchline to see if your manager can get the best out of you, if that's the case, you should be playing professional football.
Totally agree. Well, what about this then? Maybe this is the more pertinent question. If you look at when we go behind, in fact, when any of his teams go behind in games, he doesn't have the best record. I don't have the stats to hand, but he doesn't have a good record of basically coming back to win the game.
Never done it.
Well,
there you go.
Not only does he have the best, he's got not at Everton. I think it was infrequent at Wolves. Sorry, I've done that last week too. So infrequent at Watford, and again, you know, obviously it was a relatively short period of time at Hull, but it wasn't brilliant at doing it at Hull. So forget about all that theatre. Is that just a flaw in his armoury as a manager, coming from behind to win?
I think it's harsh because he hasn't been managing the best of teams. So if you do go
but Everton, he's had a lot of money.
He's had one season at Everton, and he's come from behind. He hasn't come from behind in one season.
Yeah.
So I'm not being funny. The best managers with the best players, they generally, if they go like Liverpool last week, they went a goal behind, but they've got the players to come back. Everton haven't got the players generally. If they go behind against
Bournemouth.
Yeah, I agree. They should do, but what I'm trying to say is that I think it's hard to judge him on a season so far to throw that record out that he hasn't come back from. What I think if he gets 3 seasons, go, do you know what, or even give him 18 months, you're not coming back from games here. What's going on? Where's the character in the team? I think you've got to point the points at the players, Greg. The players and the formation. For me, we'll touch on the formation shortly, but I've seen a lot of fans going, he doesn't get the club and all this, and just Silver have to get. That's nonsense as well. He doesn't. Did Mourinho get Chelsea when he won the Champions League? He weren't bothered. Picked up his Premier League winners' medal and threw in the crowd. Doesn't interest him. Chelsea doesn't interest him. He moved to Manchester United. He goes everywhere. He's not bothered. Didn't see that. All these great managers, you don't see them ranting and raving on it doesn't mean anything at all. I'd rather have a quiet manager. Yeah, perfect example. Neil Warnock, bog average manager, rants and raves on the touchline. What does he get? He's been relegated more times than any other manager. Doesn't make it a blind bit of difference. As a professional footballer, you should have it within yourself to get the best out of yourself. You shouldn't have to look on the touchline to see a manager give it the fist up to you.
Is it for me? This is, you know, if your question is, if you're going to be questioning the manager about going behind and not coming back. For me, the question is, well, was he fist pumping on the side of the pitch or not? That's not the question. It's why can his side not tactically adapt to those in-game situations? And
exactly.
That's what I was trying to get. To be honest with you. Well, do you think? I agree with what Tony was saying. Then, to be fair, like it's very early, relatively early, even in the Premier League, to start saying definitively now he just can't. He can't manage a team that comes back to win. I take your point there. I think you're right, but are we not right to say it's a cause for alarm, is it not? Because against Bournemouth, I know they're a good side, and I know we were away. But that's another matter. Man for man, are we not arguably in most areas better?
Yeah. So I wouldn't have one Bournemouth player playing for Everton.
Fraser.
I was going to say
possibly,
Fraser,
but
maybe.
Would you have him as a Richarlison?
Aki with Keane?
Yeah.
But all right. Anyway, that's not the point. Sorry. What I'm getting at is.
Start arguing about it.
I'm just thinking, should we? I don't know.
I think David touched on it last week, and he was spot on. I think the formation has got to change now.
But who selects the formation? Who selects
obviously
the
Silver. I know we're touching on, and he nailed it before when we were all giving our predictions last week, and we're saying this, what, and we all went 2-1 Everton, 3-1. And he nailed it. He said it's going to be, if Sigurdsson plays in that number 10 away from home, we're going to struggle. Yeah. He needs to change because it was just so lethargic and passive, and it was exactly what the great man said to the left of me. I don't know. They need to change. They need to change the ways away from home, because obviously the away record is absolutely disgusting. But I put a tweet out last week, straight after the match. I said, this isn't just Silver here. We're going back to Martinez, to Allardyce, to Unsworth, to Koeman. The away records and the personnel, everything's changed, and I don't know what the answer is. I couldn't tell you what the answer is. why our away record is abysmal. And we've signed characters, we've signed Gareth Barry's and Fabian Delps, we've signed Arsenal players, Iwobi, Walcott, we've signed Manchester United players, signed Chelsea players, we've signed all these players that have been and done it. But when it comes to Everton away from home, they shrink. And seriously, I don't know what the answer is. Any ideas?
No, it's one of them. You can point out the flaws, but you can't really say why. I can't. As I say, I wrote a big piece explaining, and you did one as well, basically explaining what the difference is between the home and away performances. But in terms of an explanation as to why, the only thing I will say, it can be rectified to an extent fairly easily, in the sense that if Everton could, say Everton and average, what did they get? 5 wins last season?
5 wins last season. Yeah. Couple of them towards the back end. When the season
but
was
if
over.
Everton could pick up 3 or 4 more wins, that would probably match, believe it or not, maybe their best ever season away from home in terms of wins, because it isn't a lot. So all you need,
best ever?
Yeah,
in the Premier League,
Premier League, yeah. So genuinely, it can be fixed fairly easily, but it just seems a million miles away now. Like Bournemouth away, they're not a bad side, but no team's bad in the Premier League. Every team is a good team. So Bournemouth, when you put it in perspective, Bournemouth are a team that you think they're one of the ones we've got to try and go and win at.
But when you draw 0-0 against Crystal Palace and getting beat 2-0 against Aston Villa, and then getting beat 3-1 against Bournemouth, things need to change away from home. Now we'll do a podcast next week, in a couple of weeks' time when our next away fixture is. But he needs to change something away from home with formations, doesn't he? He can't have a 4-2-3-1 anymore, can he?
Well, I agree with that, and I think that I'm sick of seeing that 4-2-3-1 especially. But are we Ed's laughing there, but it's been like, and it wasn't just him, Moyes started it really. Then anyway, I'm diverging there. My point being, are we sort of losing track of it by obsessing over the away record? Is it a matter of, in both ends of the pitch, the most important areas we're a bit dysfunctional defensively? We look like, I'm not saying like this season full stop, but in key areas defensively we'd slid back to the bad habits of Millwall and what have you last season. And then, as you, David, said, in the final third, certainly against Bournemouth, alright, Calvert-Lewin scored a good goal from a cross, but centrally, like you said with Sigurdsson, I don't know if it matters if he's home or away. Maybe he gets less space away. So you're right, maybe that's it. Maybe it's forget where we're playing. Just those 2 key areas in the pitch that things have started to.
It started to crack in the centre back partnership, hasn't it?
Yeah. And don't forget, we conceded a few goals against Wolves as well.
I know.
Couple even.
It's just that when we look solid at the start of the season, we kept a couple of clean sheets. And going, come on, here we go, Palace, Watford. Hang on, 2 nice clean sheets there, and then. You just seen cracks coming against Wolves, and then we've seen it last week.
Think about this now, just having a look. We've conceded 7 goals in 3 games now against Bournemouth, Wolves and Lincoln City.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
That's poor, that's very poor. 7 goals in 3 games.
That's poor. No Premier League players as they were against Holgate players and but he's got experience to concede. They should really be. Maybe alarm bells should have rung about that.
Don't get me wrong, the Lincoln ones, you think, well, they were just, and we said at the time, they're not the ones that you'll over-focus on, even though it doesn't look good. They were fairly fortunate to an extent.
One of them's one of them things, isn't it?
But the other, still 5 goals against Bournemouth and Wolves, who neither teams particularly been playing
Great.
well.
Do you think he'll change the formation?
Look, he needs to. I sound like a broken record, but he does. He does need to change it. I found last year when we were talking about them changing it, they didn't quite have the personnel to do it.
Yeah.
This season they've
got it, hasn't he?
They've bought well, There's players in there that you can change the formation with, and Everton need to be more fluid tactically, because you can be good in that 4-2-3-1. But think of the technology and the amount of scouting that opposition do now. Yeah. They know you inside out, and if they know without a shadow of a doubt you're going to play this way on Saturday afternoon, they can drill a whole week to prepare for you. Yeah. And that it's just too easy.
Here's one for you. If I was sitting in Everton's dressing room And Marco Silva has got his philosophy across to me 12 months ago when he first sat down, the first training session. He said, listen, this is the way we are going to play, this is the formation we are going to do, and this is us now for the next 3 years. All the personnel change, and this is us 4-2-3-1. Yeah, and then 12 months down the line, he throws that up in the air. If you're a player in that dressing room, what would you think if your manager changes that after what he told you 12 months ago?
Yeah, okay, but equally they're sitting in a losing dressing room.
I know, but wait, what do you think? You think he's weak?
I don't, I think a player would be more impressed by a manager saying, right, we're playing this way on Saturday, 4-3, but we're drilling on drill. And then imagine they go and pick up 3 points, and you start thinking...
But the opposite side of that, imagine if they get beat, you go, this fella doesn't know what he's doing here.
But that's probably happens at every demise of a manager, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm going to say, you're talking about formation, you're not talking about the fundamental way you play.
Yeah,
if he's a possession-based approach, you're not saying he's suddenly going to say, go long and pump it for...
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that when... The best managers out there, they have the same formation every single week. Your Guardiolas, your Klopps.
I don't know about that, no Guardiola.
I disagree.
Like we were talking about it on Monday Night Football, would Guardiola ever go to a 3 at the back because of the loss of John Stones and Laporte? He said he'd never do that. I think he done it once when he was at Barcelona. Apart from that, he won't do it. He sticks with the same formation.
But they're very... City are a bad example in my opinion because they're very fluid with the formation. I understand what you're trying to say.
Klopp doesn't change.
Well, he sometimes plays a 4-2-3-1.
It's very, very rare if they're away from home against someone, but he generally plays the same formation every single week. Pochettino, the same. I think if you're in the dressing room and your manager sets his stall out as this is the way we're going to play under my regime, and you start little fiddling bits, if you're a player, you're looking for excuses straight away before you get beat. That's what players do, and you're going to go, hang on, this manager is starting to lose his bit. If he's not confident in his own formation, you're struggling.
Well, he's gone on record though, hasn't he, talking about what he actually wants to play is 4-3-3.
Yeah, he has, yeah.
So, well, what do you make of that?
Well, it's a good point because that's why we've been banging that drum for a while. I think Everton has set out to play like that, and we said 18 months ago, Gylfi Sigurdsson is the problem because you can't play him in this team with 4-3-3. There's no place for him. Because you can't play in the 3 above. Because he's not. I don't think he's good enough to play in the 3 above, and he hasn't got the legs to play in the 3 in midfield. Because you either got Gomez or Delph or another, so he's not good enough to play in there.
No, yeah.
So he's the problem. You spend a 40-odd million on a player, you can't leave him on the bench.
Do you reckon then, if say he's going to play 4-2-3-1, is he worth playing alongside a Moba in the 2, alongside a really Moba like a Delph? If Delph is 100% fit.
No, because you know where's Gomez fitting? I'd rather have a Gomez in midfield than a Sigurdsson. So this is what I'm trying to say. So if he can't go in there and he's playing as a 3, he's too passive. He hasn't got the legs.
Well, we'll drop him.
And then I agree.
No one's bigger than.
He isn't. But if
the badge,
I totally agree. But there's someone sitting on the bench that's cost 50 million. Where's he going to be asking what's going on here? But then again, Silva didn't buy him, did he?
No, and also that was 2 years ago as well. Yeah. I think at some point, if it needs to change, this is the only criticism I do. Well, no, I have a few, but I'm not getting into them because I'm not jumping on Silva's back at the moment. But I want to see more bravery in his tactical decisions, and dropping Sigurdsson would be one. Mm-hmm. It doesn't need to reflect poorly on the player, but at the end of the day, you're not winning games, and what's the term? The definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. We're at that stage again. We're playing the same kind of formations and trying the same players, and it's not working. It's just not working. It just isn't working.
Before we go to our Twitter and Facebook questions, do you think he'd ever go a 4-4-2 man?
Has he got? I suppose the question
then is,
I suppose the question is, does he think that you could play someone like Calvert-Lewin and Keane together, or would he play with Richarlison and Keane? He seems pretty clear with Richarlison. He feels like he wants him out on the right, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So it's a good question. Do you think Calvert-Lewin and Keane could be a partnership? I haven't seen enough of Keane to know yet really what he is, to be honest.
There's not many teams apart from Burnley I can think at the top of the head that go 4-4-2 nowadays.
Yeah.
No, but
Watford's a good
yeah,
shout.
Watford play almost a lot of the time. They play like a 4-2-2-2. It's really narrow.
Yeah, they're compact.
The opposite of us, really.
Yeah, which you could play, but I'd like to see a variation of what Napoli did against Liverpool through the week, and that's it's a 4-4-2 without the ball. But when you've got the ball, you go into like a 4-2-4. Yeah, and I think Everton have got the wide players that could actually work.
You need legs, don't you?
Yeah.
Desperately need legs.
I like it. I think it could work.
When you've got the ball.
Yeah.
So does that tie into what you're saying about being brave? Because if you lose the ball,
you've got to have your two lads back.
But you say that, right? But think about this. Most teams attack in normally either a 5 and leave 2 behind. Yeah. So you'll have like a defensive 4, a holding midfielder.
Yeah.
And then the other, say you're playing a 4-3-3 for example.
Yeah.
Defensive 4, holding midfielder. You'll have your 2 number 8 supporting the 3 attackers. At 5.
Yeah.
Was it 5?
And you'll have your fullbacks.
Yeah. But the point I'm trying to make anyway, I've had half a pint, so I'm trying to get my maths mixed up. But the point is, if you think about that formation, you'd probably have the front 4.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'd have maybe 1 of the 2 holding midfielders just hovering in front of the back 5, so to speak.
Yeah,
so
like a Delph.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
It could work. So
be interesting. Yes, it happens indeed. Facebook and Twitter questions. A lot of you were in touch. Really, really appreciate that. We'll go straight to the Facebook ones. First up is Matthew Barry. He says,
"Hi lads. Please can you discuss the negative impact of Seamus Coleman is having on the team? He gets continuously targeted by the opposition and his inability to get back enough when he goes forward exposes the centre-backs."
You're going to look at me now, aren't you?
No, because
you're horrible, because you've done so well.
No, because I get singled out sometimes on social media going, you're too harsh on Seamus Coleman, and I was watching that game on Sunday, and I said to my mate, I watched it with my mate who I haven't seen for a while, and
you also texted us, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, and I put on the WhatsApp group, I said, just look, what is Coleman bringing to the team? And I know Luca Dean didn't have the greatest of games, don't get me wrong, but what was Coleman bringing to the team? Every time he's crossing the halfway line, he's just looking for the easy option, come inside. He's not the Seamus Coleman of old, we know that, and I wouldn't be surprised if Sir Davies in the starting lineup in the next couple of weeks. I really wouldn't be surprised at all.
Get him in.
Do you think?
Yeah, pretty much. I can't really disagree. You don't like to point the finger about the goals, but at least one of them. It's when Richarlison. He shouldn't concede the free kick, but he's tracking back.
He's strolling back, by the way. Strolling back.
Yeah, and he's trying to cover for him. Yeah. So
I think we'll slow. And you know what?
I think we'll see Sidibe when he's fit.
Yeah, and it's sad. You don't want to see him to be just like slowly waned out the team like this, just getting ripped by wingers. But we're not here to house people because of the sentiment. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. We want to be a good team, and if it's the case that Sidibe has to come in for Coleman, then so be it. David, what's the next question?
It's a formation question by Tony, which we may have ticked off, Tony, but I'll read it out anyway. What do you think on Silva's formation he picks? Do you not think about the 4-4-2? Ironically, would be more effective, more solid. And do you think any particular players should be starting before others? Keep up the good work as well. Yeah. Cheers, Tony.
Cheers, Tony. Do you think there's any players that are on the bench or on the periphery, Greg, that could come into the team?
Only Sidibe, as we've just said. Not really. I mean, people talk about Tom Davies and should Tom Davies be starting? Not really at the moment.
Baines left wing.
Left wing?
Yeah, you go throw him in centre midfield.
I mean, I love Leighton Baines, and I think that experiment was one of the great what could have been with him playing in centre mid that was probably abandoned too early. I wouldn't start him in the Premier League in centre mid now with the quality of actual centre midfielders we've got. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, if we had an injury crisis, it'd be interesting to see. No, other than that, mate, I'd probably just say the most. Well, it's whether, I suppose for Saturday, it's whether Moise Keane starts or Dominic Calvert-Lewin does.
Yeah, interesting. Would you like to see anyone come in from the squad who isn't getting a game lately? Walcott?
You
You already said that. Faced as well.
As I said, Theo Walcott.
You've upset me there, mate. Jesus Christ. Genuinely, no.
No. All right, Sam. So what's next on the... We'll go to the Twitter questions, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. First up, Twitter question.
Yeah, we got Callum Lapsley. It's still wide open. Can we still beat the big teams and get into the top 6?
I think we can. I think we played 6 games. I think it's well within our rights to get into that top 6. I look at the teams and I called it. I think Chelsea there for the taking. Manchester United are. Arsenal are no great shakes. I know we're not at the moment, but none of them are ripping the league up at the moment. Top 2 are well away. Tottenham are obviously, I think they'll finish here. But apart from that, I really wouldn't be surprised if Everton finish in the top 6 at all.
I don't think we can, unfortunately.
Why is that?
Away form.
Yeah, I do.
See, Arsenal's away form. Just as bad as ours.
It's not.
Yeah,
it is.
Arsenal. Listen, I just don't think they can. Truthfully, for me, Bournemouth was a make or break for the season in terms of where we were, and we were well beaten. I don't think Everton are going to break the top 6. I think Leicester City have got more of a chance than Everton.
Ooh, interesting.
He loves Leicester City, doesn't he?
It does on the slide.
I've noticed this reading this stuff. Like, but, to be honest, I see where he's coming from, because I think in terms of Maddison, and without turning into the All Together Foxes podcast, like, they feel like they've got a bit more of a spark in the final third than we have at the moment. So if you're looking at contenders to break into the top 6, then they're definitely up there. It's way too early to rule us out, I think. I hear what David's saying, and I do feel a bit alarmed. I do. You'd be wrong not to when you get beat 3-1 away by Bournemouth.
Listen, by all means, prove me wrong. I'll be dancing. But
I know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But you can't rule it out. There's a long way to go. Obviously, there's another transfer window as well. Not that we tend to do much in it under Brands, but defensively, I think we need to see a return to that end of season form where they were keeping clean sheets, like we said earlier. Yeah.
So Callum, you got your positivity from me. Besides me, you got your negativity.
And as usual, I had to split it.
Next question.
Cathel says, I hope that I pronounced that right, by the way.
Yeah.
If I haven't, I apologise. But it's a decent question. We covered half of it, but I think the second half makes sense. Could Gylfi ever fit into a 4-3-3? No. But is there any other formation that doesn't have him playing as a central attacking midfielder? Can I jump on this one first?
Go ahead, fire away.
So we have options up front, but I have a theory that Sigurdsson could potentially play as a second striker.
Klinsmann?
As a 4-3-3?
No, maybe as like a 4-4-2 and play behind the main striker. I think he's got all the credentials. If you look at his, he's got a decent goal scoring record. He's got a good shot.
Yeah, 13 last.
He's done well as that position at Swansea, didn't he? When he was just behind that empty.
Yeah, I think it'd be worth trialling at some point this season.
Maybe against Sheffield during the week, something like that.
Yeah, we can't risk it. That's
the position we're in, isn't it?
That's how sad it is, unfortunately.
Hold on, right, in a 4-3-3?
No, in a 4-4-2.
So the question does query the 4-3-3, but for me, we look at that.
Sorry,
you touched on that.
So
I think he could play as a second striker.
Yeah, well, he spends so much of the time in that advanced position. You almost think you might as well try him there.
Has he got the legs to do it?
But do you need legs though?
I think you do. I think you do need legs.
You like it really, don't you? You like
when
you can't.
No, I'm trying that going. You need legs.
I don't see a place for him in the team, so I'm trying to make an excuse for him not to have it, to be honest. Next question.
Craig says, do we overrate our players? How many will get into a top side?
That's a good question. That is a very good question.
What?
How many of Everton's team will get into
United?
That's what's called top side. They're not top side, are they?
No,
let's talk City, Liverpool.
No, they're too high. Spurs.
That's what I was trying to aim at.
All right, say Spurs.
Yeah.
Go on.
All right, who's our best players? Luca Dean, would he get in? I'd say yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Yeah,
they've got issues in the room.
Danny Rose, better than him. Yeah, Luca Dean. Pickford.
The goalkeeper's going to say yeah.
Yeah, Pickford.
Debatable.
Muchness for me.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I mean he's probably on par with Lloris. So yeah.
Centre-backs, I like Tottenham centre-backs.
Yeah, I don't think either has.
Right back, forget about it, Tottenham's. Whoever's Tottenham's is.
You know what? That's the one place they're struggling, but I feel like we're in a default position. Aren't we, with Coleman?
Gomez.
Not for me.
They were linked with him, of course, in the summer, weren't they?
No. Delph. No, they've got Ericsson and everyone else in Belly. No. Richarlison. Yes.
Yeah, but if you think like Son and stuff like that.
I think he's one of Spurs' famous squad players at the moment.
Yeah, it's hard.
I can see him in the mix for them. I don't think he starts in the strongest 11.
I've seen Lamela get his game and Dele Alli, and no, I think he's better than them.
What?
I can't
believe Richarlison.
Yeah, Richarlison. I'd rather have Richarlison than Dele Alli.
Dele Alli is in a
weird going through a slumping form, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm having Dele.
No, what? Actually, I'm going to go with Toe on that. If you said now you can have one of them to start for your team, you would probably take Richarlison.
I actually see where he's coming.
Yeah.
Lamela, obviously, I think I'd rather have Richarlison.
He just reminds me of
Son, no chance.
I don't think I'd put anyone else in.
Harry Kane, obviously.
Oh yeah. So are we talking about 2 or 3 good players there?
Yeah.
Just try to.
If you give the benefit of the doubt and say Pickford, Dean, and Richarlison.
Sad, damn it.
You know what, though, in fairness, though, we were harsh on them there. We could have went easy with, like, say, United. I think you get 5 or 6.
Yeah, but wait, I know what...
Sorry, mate.
Yeah, but we're trying to... We want to be...
No,
but it's got to be incremental.
Yeah,
finish third, are we?
No, I know, but if there's a space, that's where you want to try and...
Well, all right, let's say Arsenal then. Because it's probably...
Arsenal?
Yeah.
Apart from the forward line. Arsenal... I've said this, Arsenal's defence is awful, it's just as bad as ours.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with the defence.
The goalkeeper, I'd rather have Pickford than Leno.
Yeah.
Midfield.
I don't think that's as straightforward as you're suggesting.
Who's in their midfield?
Well, Torreira when he's fit.
When he's fit.
Guendouzi's a very good player.
Yeah.
As a Gomez.
Yeah.
I'm
not Gomez, man, am I? You're backing up the wrong tree.
I
don't dislike him, I just... I'm not blown away by him. Guendouzi's a really good player. He's going to go all the way.
Think?
Yeah. Sorry, I just like a Gunners pod in it.
You've got
Arsenal fan TV watch.
You've got Ozils and just walking around the pitches and
he's just not. To be fair, he's not getting the game.
Time, then, fellas. Waste of time. So it was a good question. Though.
Should we go? So the first part then. Do Everton overrate the players?
I think every fan overrates their own team set of players, don't they? We've done plenty of times. We've been on here one week and waxing lyrical about Richarlison and then slagging him off the week later saying he spits his dummy out, he's never off the floor.
I read a piece on the Athletic saying that. It was fucking
I'll tell you what, someone overrates Calvert-Lewin, the amount of times you've called him.
I've never said that. Never said that. There's a player in there, I really do, and I like him. I really, really like him.
I think you said.
And I think there's a really good player in there, I do. And
sure, you said once he'll lead the line for England consistently.
No, I said he'd be right up. I think he'd be a good player. I really do. I just think he gets criticised far too much.
At the moment, that's...
And if Harry Kane would have scored that header on Sunday, they would have been watching little about it.
Yeah, I agree. It's
really good header, that.
Is it his fault he's being asked to carry the burden of a team that can be this dysfunctional in the final third? Funny enough, mentioned that they've done a piece today. And he spoke to Eddie Boothroyd and he made a good point. He said sometimes he wasn't making excuses for Calvert-Lewin because he's one of his under 21 players. He says, he's got weaknesses. Needs to be more clinical.
Yeah.
Needs to have more.
I think he said, you probably said that.
Shots per goal ratio needs to be up. It's clear what he needs to improve. But to an extent, you're only as good as your chance of creating them. When we're flinging crosses in the box, most central defenders, unless they're really high quality, will deal with it, as we saw against Villa. David pointed that out. Now and again, you'll get lucky, and he'll probably exploit it, like against Bournemouth. What's coming through the middle with Sigurdsson?
No.
I think it's a bit obvious where we're faltering at the moment.
Yeah.
And the concern for me is we don't have a ready-made 10. Do we play a Wobie there? Does Bernard
feed a Keane or Calvert-Lewin?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it's good.
The only thing I will say, just on to back up that point, Calvert-Lewin's expected goals last season in the Premier League was just over 6, and he scored 6 goals. So he basically scored the chances he should have scored. I know he had a few big misses in parts, but
he's 22. And by the way, again, he was 3 years ago, he was playing for Northampton Town.
Playing against his old club on Saturday as well.
If he starts, do you think he'll start or Keane?
I think he'll start.
You think he'll start?
Yeah, I think he'll start. Yeah. Keane's not ripping up any trees, is he?
Not really. We haven't seen much yet, but it's early doors for him. So.
Next question. Let's get on with
two
these.
more there. Yeah. Matt Hawksworth. What a name! Great name, Matt. Do you think it's time for Marco to bring in Tom Davis for Schneiderlin and Keane or Ken for DCL? I don't know about this bit, Matt. Davis is more attack minded to link to the strikers.
Is he?
While Ken stays higher and more central than Calvert-Lewin does. I think the latter's true. Yeah. Definitely. Davis goes back to what we said on the pod last week. I don't think we have any idea, do we, where his actual best kind of position or
I don't think Tom Davis knows either, to be honest.
I disagree that he's more attacking. I don't think we've seen any evidence of that in terms of ask our stat man, but I don't think really in terms of assists, in terms of like maybe forward passes he might do more of, but even then I'd be surprised.
I think he can be braver, but I don't know if he's accurate with it all.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'd want to be a sample size of 10 games playing in that kind of role.
And that's the problem for him, I suppose, isn't it? He hasn't had that for quite a long time.
So I suppose it's not a bad question, actually, if you think he's saying should he play there, but...
there's a good show for him ahead of Schneiderlin, especially at home. I think there's no need for Schneiderlin at home. I really don't.
I don't mind Schneiderlin, you hate him, don't you?
Yeah, that's just... He's a...
What would you do with Morelos and Schneiderlin?
Is he your
red button? Yeah, he's gone on to... No, he's alright, Schneiderlin, he does a job, but you want more than a job, do you know what I mean? Would Schneiderlin get any of the top 6 teams? No. So, why are we housing him? Just answer that question.
Yeah. Good question, Matt. Collie asks, will Marcel Brands go into the market this January? He isn't keen on doing so given comments from since he's arrived at the club, but given our shortages, particularly at centre-back, and with no competition for either Keane or Mina, surely he has to bring in one, if not two. What do you lads think?
I think he'll go back in for Zuma. I think he'll go back in for him.
Not.
You hope not?
No. I think he's got to.
I honestly...
It's interesting.
I just wasn't on this...
Zuma bandwagon,
yeah, I wasn't. I thought he'd done okay, but I just think, how much did they want?
What do you want? What they get?
Okay.
Like 25,
what would you pay?
I'd pay 30 odd million for him.
What would you pay, Greg?
I would say that would be quite reasonable, like 25 to 30 million.
See, I think Everton would get something better for 30 million.
Yeah, but this is where we're reading into... We read different stories where Silva wants someone Premier League proven, where Brands wants someone from European leagues. So this is where they meet in the middle and they go, by the way, well, there's your list of players.
Yeah.
So...
In fairness, I know he's absolutely stinking the place out at Chelsea at the moment, but he is being horribly exposed in Lampard's system, the way they're playing.
Zuma is?
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah,
he was fourth choice the weekend, wasn't he?
He might have been. Yeah. He hasn't been playing well, but the way... for me, Lampard's trying to go from first to sixth gear in terms of wanting to bring in this kind of high octane, high pressing thing. And
like a basketball team, the way they're playing, aren't
they? Are, mate, yeah. That is basically it in a nutshell. And a consequence of that is he's getting exposed a lot. So
done at Derby last season as well.
Yeah. So
I'll go in for Zuma. I think he'd be the player that I'll go for in January. Just get him in there. Do you see anyone coming in, Greg?
I don't think he's like ideologically opposed to ever doing any business in January full stop. I think what he said on the record, it's a good question by the way, is that he doesn't see it as a good market and he doesn't see a lot of value in it. Probably a fair comment, but if something stacks up and there's a need for it, and I think we're already seeing there's a need for a centre back, I don't think he'd just go, no, it's January, forget it, I'll wait till the summer. There's a lot of season to go from January, so I would like to hope, whether it's Zuma or someone else, and to be honest, I'd take Zuma today, so I'm not going. But what David's saying, isn't Brands there to say, well, if this centre back here in Club Brugge, for example, he's the one.
I know.
He comes in.
But David made a couple of good points a couple of weeks ago, and he said like a manager's lifespan is different from Marcel Brands' job. Marcel Brands could be here for the next 10 years. Marco Silva mightn't be, so he's got to think here right now. I need Premier League players who are proven. I'm not willing to have someone settle in and take a gamble. Now look at Moise Keane, for example. It could take till December to score his first goal.
Especially in January, there's no pre-season, is there? You've got to more or less hit the ground running.
Of course, and Marco Silva needs players to come in straight away and know the Premier League and hit it off.
Well, there's the issue. It's whether or not they think... Well, they thought Zuma was good enough in the summer, so it shouldn't change. So if they can get him, then they'll get him.
I hope to go for him in January. Do you hope to go for anyone else?
Not off the top of my head. If it was the summer, it'd be different. But January is such a strange market that I'd like to see who's kind of, for the reason that you just touched on, who's playing well at the time. You know, because if you're buying in January, for me, that's a market where you want an instant impact.
Yeah.
So
it's not worth it then, is it?
Yeah, if it's not, you may as well wait till the summer.
Yeah.
So it needs to be a little bit more scouting near the time and a player that you might like who's also playing well.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for all your Twitter and Facebook questions. Really, really appreciate them. Before we wrap up, Sheffield United on Saturday, Greg. Nice to get back at home after our nightmare away from home.
Yeah.
Sheffield United, do you think these will be a tough nut to crack? They've scored in 7 consecutive away games on the spin.
Yeah, I do.
Be a tough game?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll beat them at Goodison Park. I do. I'm quite confident at Goodison. I think
we're putting too much pressure on ourselves at home because of our abysmal away record.
Possibly, yeah. I think there's something in that. But I think at home, we've just at the moment, especially if for example, Gomez is fit, and we can go with our strongest team with Gomez and Delph, and I think we beat them, but they will cause us problems. And if if Keane and Mina aren't on blob, then they're going to challenge us from set pieces. They're going to push, and they're not fantastic. They haven't got fantastic individuals, but we've already seen, haven't we? They've got the ability to get results in the Premier League, and so we can't take it for granted. I do think we'll win. Not getting to predictions yet, but I think. What do you reckon? Do you reckon that?
I think they'll score. I just don't trust Everton.
I can see them score.
I just don't trust Everton at the moment defending. Whereas if you to ask me this question about 2 or 3 weeks ago, but we said no, I fancy Everton for a clean sheet. At the moment, Everton look dodgy, especially from set pieces. My heart is in my mouth every time a corner gets swung in at from the opposition. Free kick. The zonal mark, and I know it was really good, and don't get me wrong, I haven't questioned it for a while, but the goal that we conceded, I think it was the first goal Bournemouth scored. There was 3 players that could have avoided that. The header initially, the second ball, it was just a fundamental error from everyone, and it all boiled down to just zonal mark.
Do you think Keane is? We know he's a confidence player, and we've seen when he's believing in himself and it's flying. We've seen the player we hoped we'd sign, but do you think that England? It was only against Kosovo, but it was playing for England. Do you think that got into his head? At the vitality.
I don't think it takes much.
Yeah.
That's the only problem.
He's weak mentally, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I hope that he can put that behind and draw a line under it. And he wasn't directly at fault on Sunday, but he didn't have his best game either, did he? So I hope at Goodison, but he'll be tested again, won't he?
Of course,
from set pieces.
So what do you make of Sheffield United this season, David?
You know what? They're very, very good side. They play very good football. I mean, I was just checking over the results, and to be fair, they've only had 1 win. So far this season, so it's taken them time to adapt, and the manager, what's his name? Wilder. He's come out a few times, which has surprised me in the press and being pretty critical of the players. But I thought they were a little bit unlucky against Southampton last week. They got beat 1-0, but they had next year about 1.66, so they should have scored, and they had one ruled out VAR as well. They're going to be tough.
Went to Chelsea the week before and didn't they?
Yeah, true too. Yeah, so they're going to come here and they're going to play football, and they're going to be a tough side. It's going to be a tough game, and I think what you mentioned before was very true, that the caveat to our terrible away form, especially after Bournemouth, when everyone's gone, hold on a minute, we have to acknowledge our away form's bad, has been, well, we got the home form at least, and I do worry now whether psychologically they're going to start thinking, we need to pick up wins here and overthink it a little bit, because although we've all been talking about it amongst ourselves, everybody else has picked up on the quality of the home form now, haven't they? And I just wonder whether that is not going to be as reliable as it has been in the previous weeks.
You can factor into that as well the potential for as early as it is in the season, a little bit of angst in the crowd if things don't start off particularly fluidly.
Think they're waiting for something?
Well, I'm just worried. Say we don't even play that well for half an hour, it gets a bit niggly, you can hear the groans and the moans, and then they score. Or say they score early, and then the backs get up, the groans and the moans. You know, ideally, we come out the traps flying like we're capable of doing. We know full well as an attacking unit. You score goals against anyone.
Yep.
So let's hope that we start in that vein of form, get an early goal, Goodison behind them, you know, from the offset. It's Saturday 3 o'clock kick-off. This is what we live for Premier League football,
definitely,
watching Everton. So let's hope that we just draw a line under Sunday, like I said, not just the team but the fans as well, and build on it. But I'm sure I won't care if we've got the points and we've got it in a convincing manner come tea time on Friday. But a little part of me will be thinking, well, I won't be convinced until we do it away, you know. And I don't mean Sheffield Wednesday that's important as well, by the way, but I mean Premier League away games, and we start to see a U-turn in that form.
I've seen an abysmal stat that I think we've lost the last 2 games against promoted teams in the Premier League.
3.
I went 3, is it?
Oh, 2 it is,
2.
sorry, yeah.
And this will be our 3rd game against the promoted
Don't
team.
say that.
I know. Before we get to the predictions, do you see any changes in the starting lineup then? Do you think he'll go just rip it up and start again, or?
No, I don't, you know, sadly, I don't. I think we might see Ken come back in, and that's probably as brave as he gets, really. I can't see much else changing. Maybe just some slight adjustments to playing personnel, and that's it.
Do you see him changing anything, Greg?
The only thing I would maybe... You think DCL will start, don't you?
Yeah.
And
I think it'll be... If you're a young lad who's just scored last week and you drop him again, and Moise Keane hasn't been whipping it up, has he? And don't get me wrong, you can see he's got it, you can see he's a good player, but he's not banging on the door, is he, to be the number 1 centre forward?
No,
so
maybe not.
Usual discussion with me Alpha last week, and he was saying that, do you know what, why Calvert-Lewin playing, why is Moise Keane, he's showing this and that. Daddy's watching him every week in training, he knows the score, do you know what I mean? He can see if someone's willing to make runs or who's fit enough to lead the line, and at the moment Moise Keane isn't fit enough to lead the line, so we've seen, but does he look as if he's ready, chomping at the bit that he's going to be banging goals in left, right and centre? I don't think he is.
No.
So this is where Calvert-Lewin's coming in. Don't get me wrong, if you were to ask me this question in 10 games time, probably get a different answer, but at this moment in time, I think Calvert-Lewin's the one to lead the line.
Right, so does Gomez come back in then, if fit?
If fit. I think it's a no-brainer.
And then I suppose the only other one is whether or not he says Sidibe's a bigger guy than Coleman, and whether he's fit now. How he goes with Sidibe at right back.
What would that do to the dressing room? Do you think that'll... No, if you were a player in that dressing room before the kick-off, well, he probably says the team on the Friday night, doesn't he? And if he gets them all in the hotel and he said, by the way, Seamus, you'll have to miss this one out. Sidibe's playing right back, and now there's another captain, arguably, whether it be Pickford or Lucadini, whatever it may be, Sigurdsson. So Coleman, you have to sit this one out or sub. I think that if you're a player there, that's actually going, woof, all of a sudden. Maybe. All of a sudden you're going, wow.
The only thing I would say to these questions about like the players is what did they expect? Do you know they're not winning games?
No, I know.
Like they're not winning games, so why should,
you know what,
why should Silva not be going, well, you know what, I'm changing this, I'm changing that. I get it.
But they have like fragile personalities, don't they? Like, you can't, of course, and you can't touch me, or you can't have a go at me and my mate. You know what, we all hear what dressing rooms are like. We speak to ex-players and everything else, and they tell you it's like a really fragile community in that dressing room, isn't it? There's like, I don't know, the English contingent there, and there's mates there, and if you go in and start throwing teacups, they'll turn against you. So obviously that's why I always try to get it from a player's perspective. When I say, if Silva goes in on Friday and he goes, by the way, Seamus, you're missing this one, you dropped, he's the captain, Sidibe's right back, all of a sudden, if I wasn't playing that dressing room, I go, ooh, well, he's meaning business here now, do you know what I mean? I need to pull my finger out.
Oh,
so you're advocating for it?
Yeah.
I thought you were being like...
No, I'm saying like, all of a sudden, if I was a player in that dressing room, and I go, whoa, he's pulling his finger out here now, do you know what I mean?
You were saying he shouldn't
No, I think he should.
I'm
all for it, because he needs to battle it.
There's 3 yes.
Yeah.
You're through.
Well done. 3 to boot camp.
Well done, Gibral.
Prediction. I think we've been abysmal here, haven't we? All season. I'll go first. 2-1 Everton.
I'll go 2-0.
2-0, clean sheet.
Clean sheet. Not by luck only.
Go on, Greg.
Look, I'll get him the usual plug because I'm not his agent, but I like Jack Connell as a centre back. I think they've got a strong defence, but I've just got a little feeling that we can score a few past them. So I'll go, because I don't want to copy off you, and really I did think it would be 2-1. I'll go 3-1.
2-1, 3-1, 2-0.
I reckon we've done that same combination.
I know we haven't been right at all. Lewis, if you enjoyed that podcast, give us a like on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, we're on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, the lot.
Buy us a pint.
Buy us a pint too. Thanks for tuning in on the All Together Now podcast.